Am I the a-hole for refusing to cover up in front of my roommates? Throwaway because my roommates have my other account. I, 21F, live with 2 male roommates. I get that it's kind of a weird dynamic for most people, but it works for us. We had been living together before both of them got girlfriends. I also have had a boyfriend for 4 years who is good friends with my roommates. I have never had issues with their girlfriends, even though they are at my place at least 5 days a week. They mostly keep to their boyfriends' rooms, and they are truly nice people, so it doesn't really bother me that much. The problem started about 5 months after we had been living together. I guess at some point both of their girlfriends got together to discuss what I have been wearing around the apartment. They confronted me without my roommates one afternoon, saying they would prefer I cover up when I leave my room because it makes everyone in the house uncomfortable. I asked them to explain what I was wearing that made them uncomfortable, and they responded that they have yet to see me in an appropriate outfit. Now, valid concerns for the most part, but let me give more context. I never wear anything inappropriate out of my room. I get changed in the bathroom after showers and am always fully covered when I leave my room. I wear baggy t-shirts and hoodies with sweatpants 90% of the time. The most scandalous thing I have worn is a tank top and shorts, not see-through at all, and with a bra, if that matters. My shorts cover my butt completely and go to about mid-thigh, by the way. All of this to say, my outfits would pass a high school dress code. Not to hype myself up, but I am blessed with a big butt, which I genuinely think is the biggest problem. The first time they brought it up, I made a point of only wearing sweatpants out of my room, no shorts. However, they brought it up again. They said, "I thought we talked about your outfits. It makes us really uncomfortable. How would your boyfriend feel about you dressing like this in front of other men?" This is where I was confused. I explained that I thought I was being respectful and more considerate of their wishes despite this being my apartment. They said I was not a true girl's girl and that I was just waiting to snatch their boyfriends. I replied, "It is not my fault you guys are insecure about your relationships. I have done more than enough to make sure you are comfortable in my home. Your boyfriends have said nothing to me, so I think you are being overdramatic. This is my apartment. You are not on the lease, and you are already here significantly more than what is allowed according to our lease. So I would tread lightly about making demands about how I can dress in my apartment." They both said that I was full of myself and that their boyfriends would not sign a lease with me again. Funny though, after I talked to their boyfriends alone, they had no idea what had happened, and they still planned to re-sign the lease with me. I think it's crazy that they felt the need to gang up on me and try to dictate what I can wear in my own home. I would understand if I were dressing a little scandalous, but I truly am not. How do I navigate this situation, and am I the a-hole? Edit, since way more people saw this than I expected, and this is easier than answering comments. First, my roommates are angels, and since I introduced them, they have become really close to my boyfriend, who does not live with us, by the way. I know that seems weird, but it's just how things work out, lol. So no, I'm not looking for new roommates. As for my roommates apparently not resigning the lease with me, according to their girlfriends, my roommates had no idea why their girlfriends would say that, and we are literally in the process of resigning the lease now. The girlfriends have not been over since the last conversation I had with them, about 5 days, which is very abnormal for them. According to one of my roommates, I scared his girlfriend a little bit after they confronted me. So I guess me standing up for myself and not caving into their delusion scared them a little bit? I have yet to have another interaction with them, but apparently they are both coming over tonight. People wondering about what the girlfriends wear, significantly less clothing than I do, that's for sure. But they are basically supermodel thin, so societally it is more acceptable for them to dress less modestly. Not that I agree, but society is messed up. I asked them if they were resigning the lease, and they said yes. They also did not know why their girlfriends talked to me instead of talking to them. I asked if they had problems with how I dress around the house, to which they replied, "You look homeless, thanks." That is our humor. I also mentioned how much their girlfriends were at our apartment. For context, our rent includes everything except for Wi-Fi, so them being here doesn't make it more expensive for me. I said that I don't mind them being here that much since they usually keep to themselves. But I draw the line at being made to feel uncomfortable in my own home. I also told them that if their girlfriends confront me about a problem without my roommates present, I will not hesitate to ask them to leave. My roommates were great about it and had no issues with anything I said. They plan on talking to their girlfriends. Let me know if you want an update about how the girlfriends interact with me next time I see them. Not sure when that will be. Final update, so, the girlfriends came back yesterday, and we had a house meeting. Some clarifying information, I got comments about the timeline and the post being fake. The last incident where the girlfriends confronted me was a week ago. The conversation I had with my roommates was 3 days ago. I made the post because I knew the girlfriends would be coming back soon, so I wanted advice. Also, it is very normal for the girlfriends to be at the apartment when my roommates are not, which is why my roommates didn't know they had talked to me until I told them. And I was not trying to imply the girlfriends weren't attractive or were too thin. I was simply pointing out that my being more curvy, I'm a size 8 and pretty short, rather than a size 0 and taller like them, could make outfits seem more inappropriate even when they aren't. I will not be posting or sending photos of myself. Stop asking. You all are weird, and I suggest you go to a special website to deal with that. One of the girlfriends, let's call her Maya, came over first. She approached me while I was in the kitchen cooking and said she wanted to talk about the situation. I politely said that this is a conversation that needs to happen when her boyfriend is here, so we could wait until he got home. She was a little confused but went to his room. I then messaged the roommate group chat and asked for the 5 of us to talk once everyone arrived. My roommates agreed. I heard them all come home, and at some point the other girlfriend, let's call her Sarah, also arrived. I went to the living room wearing my XL Grinch onesie. Don't worry, it covered my ankles, so there was no way I could be dressing provocatively. My roommates thought it was hilarious, the girlfriends did not. We all sat down for a conversation. It was very awkward. I started by saying that it is not fair for anyone to dictate what goes on in our apartment if they are not paying rent. I explained that if Maya or Sarah had an issue with me, I would prefer my roommates bring it up to me, and there should not be a confrontation between me and the girlfriends. My roommates backed me up and said they thought this was fair and even apologized for their girlfriends, not necessary but a nice gesture. Both girlfriends stayed silent the entire time, but Sarah rolled her eyes every time I spoke. I addressed Sarah and asked if there was anything she wanted to talk about. She went off on me, saying I am too controlling about cleaning and buying things for the apartment, which has nothing to do with her, and that I prance around on my high horse in skimpy clothes. I asked her what I could possibly be wearing that is skimpy, and she said, "You walk around with everything on display." Her boyfriend stepped in and said he disagreed in that they had never seen me in anything inappropriate, so she shouldn't have a problem. She got offended and said he was an ass for defending me instead of her. I told her she was free to leave if she had issues with our home or the people in it. She stormed off into his room and started packing her things. As for Maya, she broke down crying, saying she didn't mean to upset me and that Sarah pressured her into confronting me. She said she didn't really care about what I wore and didn't see any problems with it, but Sarah got into her head. Maya was not a huge issue from the start, Sarah did most of the confronting, and Maya just nodded along. I told her she should have had more of a backbone and stood up for me rather than helping Sarah confront me if she didn't see a problem. She said she wanted to work on our relationship and hoped we could become friends despite all of this. I'm not sure where I stand on that, but I guess the thought counts. Sarah and my roommate had a huge argument that lasted almost an hour. Then she left the apartment completely with all her stuff. I asked my roommate what was going on, and he said he thinks things are over with Sarah, but nothing is official yet. Overall, I feel much better about the situation, and I'm hoping I don't have to deal with Sarah again. Thanks for the support and advice.